Chapter 18. I opened my eyes. It was light, so it was morning. I wondered how early it was. I rolled over and looked at the clock. Almost 8 o'clock. I should have been up an hour ago. I practically jumped out of bed. Augie would be here in just a few minutes. How could I sleep that long? I remembered my father yelling up to me when he left at 6:30 to tell me he was heading to work, and I just closed my eyes for a second. Or so I thought. I ran to the bathroom, grabbed my toothbrush, and squeezed out some paste. Normally I'd wait until after breakfast to brush my teeth, but I knew I didn't have time to eat anything. I charged back into my room. The pants, a clean shirt, one with a collar so it would look fancy. Socks and boxers were laid out on the chair by my desk. I had kicked off my PJ pants and started to put on my boxers when I heard pounding on the front door. It had to be Augie. "I'm coming," I yelled. I pulled on the pants and did them up. Candy was going crazy down there. I could hear her scratching at the door trying to get through the wood at Augie on the outside. I grabbed my shirt off the back of the chair and threw it over my head as I ran for the stairs. "I'll be right there," I called as the knocking came again. "Keep your shirt on." Candy looked like she was trying to dig right through the door. I took hold of her collar and dragged her away. I'd hauled her no more than a dozen feet, when to my complete surprise, the front door opened and Augie popped in. He never came in until I had Candy safely locked away. "Hurry up," he called out. Candy dug in her feet and started to snap and snarl as she strained to get back to the door and Augie. I tightened my grip on her collar and hauled her away, almost throwing her into the living room. I slammed the door shut behind her, locking her away. "Come on, let's go," Augie said. "We don't want to get there too late." "We still have plenty of time," I said. "Maybe not enough time to eat something, but certainly enough time to get to school. We have to arrive early. We don't want anybody in the schoolyard to be bugging us to see the snake. What if Mr. Johnston is on yard duty and comes over to see what everybody is looking at? That would be the end of the surprise." I hadn't thought of that. "I can be ready in 5 minutes." "Let's make it 10, so you'll have time to do something with your hair," Augie said. "My hair? What's wrong with my hair? I washed it last night. Just before you went to bed, right?" "Yeah, how did you know that?" I asked. "Go and have a look at yourself in the mirror." There was only one mirror in the whole house. It was in the bathroom, above the sink. I sprinted up the stairs and into the bathroom. I recoiled from my reflection. My hair was sticking out in all directions. I looked like a young Albert Einstein. "Don't worry, we can fix it," Augie said. He was standing in the doorway of the bathroom. "Just soak it down with water. That'll flatten it out, and then you can comb it." "Sure. Can you get the snake while I'm fixing my hair?" "By myself?" Augie asked. He sounded shocked and unsure. "Don't worry, he won't." I didn't finish. It didn't make sense to accuse him of being scared of the snake when that's how I felt myself. I hadn't taken it out of the pen since my father had insisted that I show it to my sister on Saturday. "Just hang on a minute then," I said. I turned on the tap of the bathtub and plunged my head beneath the stream of cold water. In one quick motion, I'd not only soaked my head, but washed my face, and also made certain that I was really, really awake. I turned off the tap, grabbed a towel, and started to dry my face and hair. "What are we going to carry the snake in?" Augie asked. "I just thought we'd use the burlap sack again. That'll work fine once we get it in the bag." Instantly, I thought back to the first time it went into the bag at Reptile World. Could we do it with just 2 people? But what choice did we have? Unless we just left it in the pen and carried the pen to... That was stupid. There was no way we could carry something that heavy that far. The snake had to go into the bag. "We can do it, don't worry," I said, trying my best to sound confident. I wasn't sure if I was trying to convince Augie or me. I pulled the shirt back over my head and hurried into my room. Augie followed. "Can you take all the books off the top while I get on my socks and shoes?" "That I can do by myself," Augie said. I sat down on the edge of my bed and started to pull on my socks while Augie began to remove the books. "Have you figured out what we're going to say when we give Mr. Johnston the snake?" I asked. "First off, you're going to hand him the snake," Augie corrected me. "And second, I do know." "Well, I'm just going to say how sad everybody was about what happened to Bogart, and because he's such a wonderful teacher, that everybody in the school chipped in to buy him a new snake." "Sounds good," I said as I started to tie up my shoes. "And I'm going to say how this whole thing was your idea," Augie said. "But we did it together," I protested. "You, Elise, and me. Elise and I talked. She says she just helped a little and doesn't think she deserves any credit. Besides, it was your idea. But I couldn't have done it without you." "Maybe, maybe not," Augie said. "But it was your idea, and I think you deserve the credit." But nothing," Augie said, holding up his hands. "That's what I'm going to say, and if you don't like it, then you can make the speech and hold the snake." That was so like Augie. He was a good guy. I wished I'd put that down on the assignment about friendship. I finished tying up my second shoelace and looked up at Augie. He was standing there holding a book in each hand, a stricken look on his face. "Ricky, is the screen on the top of the pen supposed to be bent up like that?" The little square of wire mesh was pushed up and away from the pen. It looked like it had come away from two of the sides. I suddenly felt like somebody had punched me in the stomach, and my head started to spin. It shouldn't be like that, should it? Augie asked again. I shook my head ever so slightly. I didn't want to let my mind go to the next step. The snake couldn't have gotten out through that little hole, could it? Ricky, say something, Augie pleaded. He was obviously thinking what I didn't dare say. Open the lid, I croaked, my voice sounding strange to my ears. Augie didn't move. Open it, I ordered. Augie shifted around to the back of the pen while I moved right in front of it. I positioned myself to be ready to pounce on the snake. I hoped and prayed it would pop out the instant Augie opened the lid. Augie grabbed the lid with both hands and tried to pull it open. It's stuck, he yelled. I can't open it. Hold on. I have to undo the latch. I clicked it open, and at the same instant, Augie pulled again and the lid crashed open. I jumped forward and... I think we can just stop there.
No, keep reading.
What? There's only a couple... There's only a couple more words to this chapter.
Okay, and read them.
I jumped forward and... The box was empty.